things that they're not mentioning. It seems like they would have mentioned that. Even still, no splatter and no pooling. He just showed.
Charlie Kirk's widow just got exposed for faking tears at his memorial, and the cameras caught every second of it. But that's just the opening act to what Dave Chappelle and Jaguar Wright just ripped wide open about her real role in this mess. Two of the boldest voices in America are pulling back the curtain, dropping shocking claims that flip the entire Charlie Kirk story upside down. Dave Chappelle and Jaguar Wright aren't holding back anymore. They're pointing the finger straight at Erica Kirk, hinting she might have been running a whole different play behind the scenes. Now people are buzzing that her so-called emotional breakdown wasn't about grief at all. It was about saving face, covering her trail, and keeping the real secrets hidden. Clips from the memorial show Erica wiping away those staged-looking tears, with viewers saying it looked more like a Hollywood audition than actual heartbreak. Jaguar Wright even doubled down, saying, "This woman wasn't grieving, she was performing."
From God. When a hero stumbles, well, the cowards rejoice. Nothing feels better to a coward than to watch a brave guy fall. These cowards that rejoice, well, they don't understand what greatness looks like.
And when Dave Chappelle slid in with his cryptic jokes about politicians and partners hiding in plain sight, the crowd exploded. This isn't just drama. This feels like divine exposure. Now the question burning through everybody's mind, was Erica Kirk really a broken widow, or was she acting out a bigger scheme? The more details that surface, the harder it is to believe this was just a grieving partner caught in the spotlight. Something way deeper is happening right in front of us, and the mask is slipping with every move she makes. Was she crying for Charlie, or secretly celebrating behind closed doors? Before the bombshell details dropped, Dave Chappelle and Jaguar Wright warned people to look at how this whole storm even started. Charlie Kirk's shocking exit played out in front of the world at an event that should have been routine, yet the second it happened, red flags started flashing everywhere. The official story twisted day by day, one version here, another version there, while witnesses swore the pieces didn't match and the so-called evidence looked shaky at best. And then came Erica Kirk's strange behavior that had the internet buzzing. Instead of looking like a devastated partner, people caught her smiling in interviews, even laughing at times. Days later, she moved in like a boss, snatching full control of Charlie's organization like she'd been waiting for this moment all along. But the wildest part? Her move to light up fireworks at his memorial. Yes, fireworks. Who turns a tribute into a spectacle like that unless the show was never about honoring Charlie's legacy at all?
And Turning Point Action, full steam ahead, so powerful. All of the other programs within Turning Point USA.
For a lot of people, that memorial didn't feel like grief at all. It felt like a celebration. Fans online were buzzing, saying, "This don't look like mourning, this looks like moving on." That's when Jaguar Wright jumped in, putting words to what millions were already whispering. And Dave Chappelle? He piled on with sly jokes about spouses turning tragedy into opportunity, and the crowd knew exactly what he was hinting at. Now, two of the boldest voices alive are saying what others have been too scared to admit. Maybe Erica wasn't mourning Charlie at all. Maybe she was celebrating the new power that dropped right into her lap. And here's where it gets wild. Jaguar Wright came swinging with zero filter, blasting Erica Kirk's big memorial speech as straight-up performance art, not genuine grief. Once you hear the way Jaguar broke it down, you can't unsee it. She pointed out the obvious details everybody noticed but didn't dare say. There weren't any real tears on Erica's face, not one. Her makeup stayed flawless. No smudges, no mascara streaks, nothing. Even crazier, Jaguar said Erica was timing her pauses, her hand gestures, even her breathing perfectly with the soft background music, like she was rehearsing lines instead of mourning a husband. Jaguar called it uncanny valley behavior, robotic, too polished, too perfect to feel real. Clips from the memorial exploded online with viewers zooming in, freezing frames, and breaking down every move. They caught Erica glancing at cameras, shifting her posture like she was hitting stage marks, and even sneaking little smiles when the choir hit the right notes. "This wasn't grief," Jaguar said. "This was acting for an audience." And when Dave Chappelle later joked about spouses who audition for sympathy instead of actually showing it, fans went crazy connecting the dots right back to Erica. Suddenly, the whispers grew louder. Was that memorial really a tribute to Charlie, or was it a stage for Erica to launch her new image? Jaguar nailed it when she described that creepy feeling, when something looks human but feels totally off. That too perfect, almost robotic vibe that makes your skin crawl. And let's be real, when someone like Jaguar calls you out, it hits different because she's seen the industry from the inside. But then Dave Chappelle stepped in, and that's when things went from strange to flat out shocking. Dave didn't just hint, he went heavy with his allegations. According to Inside Chatter, Dave claimed Charlie wasn't just a fast-rising public figure who burned out. He was offered up by the same powerful players who built him in the first place. Dave painted a chilling picture of an industry machine that creates stars, controls their every move, and then discards them like pawns when the timing suits them. He even joked on stage that the same people smiling in photos with you are the same ones grinning when you're gone, and the audience gasped, and it didn't stop there. Even Nick Fuentes, who's been close to that same circle, has started asking the hard questions nobody else wants to touch. Why did Charlie's story flip so fast? And why did certain sponsors suddenly vanish from the picture the moment things turned dark? Insiders seem to know the official story before the public even got the first press release, and that's got people asking why. How did Erica's rise to power happen so fast and so clean, like it was scripted from the start? Online sleuths are connecting dots, posting screenshots, building charts, and claiming there's a way bigger game being played behind closed doors. Whether you believe Dave's inside info or not, one thing's clear. This story has blown way past the memorial and into territory that feels dangerous for everyone involved. Dave and Jaguar are now pushing a brand new set of questions, starting with how Charlie and Erica even crossed paths in the first place. Nick Fuentes even chimed in, claiming their marriage was never about love at all, but was carefully arranged by powerful players who needed Charlie to look like the perfect family man for his political image. Jaguar doubled down, saying nothing in that world ever happens by coincidence, especially not the way they supposedly met in Israel. Think about it. What are the odds? One moment Charlie's traveling overseas, the next he's suddenly linked up with the woman who would later become his picture-perfect political partner. The timeline and circumstances around their relationship are throwing up giant red flags. Like, who just meets their future spouse in Israel and comes back with exactly the type of polished partner his public image required. It all feels too neat, too convenient, like it was planned from the very beginning. And just when people thought that theory was wild enough, Jaguar switched gears and broke down what she called the forensic problems around the shooting itself. And honestly, it's mind-blowing. She explained how, based on the distance, there should have been obvious impact on the people standing behind. But there wasn't. Charlie's scene had people stunned because the details you'd expect to see instantly just weren't there. No splatter on clothes, no marks on the wall, no trail of evidence at all. Even stranger, Jaguar pointed out there was no exit wound, no visible pool left behind, nothing that lined up with the story we were told. To her, it didn't look like tragedy. It looked staged, rehearsed, like something ripped straight out of a playbook designed to throw the public off. That's why people are now questioning if the entire scene was manipulated from the very start. None of the physical details matched the shooting described in the official reports. And that's exactly why trust in this case is collapsing fast. When evidence doesn't match the story the public is being spoon-fed, that's when you know something is seriously wrong. Jaguar Wright has been around long enough to spot those cracks, and she's refusing to let a single one slide. She's calling out every inconsistency like a detective with a spotlight, and once you hear her breakdown, you can't unhear it. But here's the jaw-dropping part. The aftermath. The biggest red flag wasn't just the shaky forensics, it was how lightning fast Erica Kirk slid into the driver's seat. We're talking days, not weeks, not months, literally days after Charlie's sudden exit. Erica was front and center, already running Turning Point like she'd been waiting for the moment all along. She wasn't hiding in grief or laying low. She was giving bold speeches about expanding the mission, taking things to the next level, and acting like nothing had been lost at all.
For 1 second that they met organically. How do you think they met each other? Do you think that they bumped into each other at CPAC and Charlie said, "Hey, let's go on a date"? No, they were...
Even more unsettling, clips surfaced where she looked almost cheerful while talking about the team's blessed workload and pushing harder than ever. People online were floored, saying this didn't sound like a grieving widow at all. It sounded like a CEO stepping into her big break.
Kirk's behavior is unsettling as fuck. It's not conveying real grief, it's conveying performance. It's giving uncanny valley. Like, this woman came out on stage to pyrotechnics, timing her body language and her crying to the music. Then she gives a speech that comes off as more of a piece of performance art than it does as an expression of real grief. And when you look at that woman's face, there is not a single tear streaming down that woman's face. There is not a single smudge of makeup out of place. She's making it look like she's crying, but she's not really crying. So yeah, the whole thing is unsettling.
The whispers grew louder. Was Erica really mourning, or did she see Charlie's sudden exit as her green light to take it all over? And the speed was shocking. Not weeks, not months, but literally days. That's how fast Erica Kirk jumped into action. Most people can barely get out of bed after losing a spouse, let alone handle bills or calls. But Erica, she was making major business moves, drawing up expansion plans, and putting herself in front of every camera she could find. Dave Chappelle even called it out, pointing to how her actions totally clashed with the devastated trad wife image the public was being sold. The narrative didn't match the reality people were watching with their own eyes. Think about it. When someone close passes, the instinct is usually to step back, process, and heal. But Erica's instinct to step forward, grab the wheel, and act like she'd been prepping for this very moment. To a lot of people, it didn't look like grief. It looked like strategy, cold, calculated, and perfectly timed. And then the internet did what it always does. It launched a full-blown investigation. Social media detectives started digging through timelines, cross-checking interviews, and pulling receipts. They noticed how her speeches felt rehearsed, how her wardrobe mirrored political spouses more than grieving partners, and even how some of her posts looked pre-scheduled, like she had the plan locked in before Charlie was even gone. Threads started popping up all over X, Reddit, and Instagram, connecting dots mainstream outlets won't even touch. A TikTok user went viral after accusing Erica Kirk of faking tears during Charlie's funeral, and the receipts were chilling. The clip broke it down frame by frame, Erica stepping out while pyrotechnics blasted in the background. Yes, pyrotechnics at a funeral. Who does that? Her body language and even her crying seemed perfectly timed with the music, like a rehearsed show instead of raw emotion. And the kicker, not a single tear actually fell. Her face was spotless, makeup untouched, every eyelash still locked in place. Viewers said the whole thing gave straight up uncanny valley vibes, human but not human at all. When everyday people online start spotting details like that, it's clear this isn't just random conspiracy chatter anymore. The fact that Erica was instantly positioned to take over Charlie's empire makes it feel less like a tragic accident and more like a chess move, planned, calculated, and executed with precision. Too many coincidences are stacking up, and the internet isn't buying the official story anymore. And here's where it gets even heavier. Dave Chappelle's shocking claim about that rejected $150 million donation. According to him, Charlie turned down money from a group with major influence, the kind of wealth and power that can shape entire political landscapes behind the scenes. And these aren't the type of people who take rejection lightly in that circle. Everything in that world is transactional, And when someone blocks a deal that big, they don't just walk away quietly. Now the picture forming is chilling. Erica steps up as the perfect replacement. Charlie is suddenly out of the way, and the same power brokers who once backed him are still calling the shots behind the curtain. Fans online are saying this wasn't tragedy. This was business. It's a dark reality most people don't even want to consider, but Dave Chappelle has been warning about this hidden power for years. So what does it all add up to? Dave and Jaguar Wright aren't just tossing random theories. They're painting a picture of a woman who, in their view, wasn't simply swept up by her husband's tragic exit. She may have been positioned for it. They're pointing to the fake tears, the instant takeover of Charlie's organization, the strange timeline of their relationship, the missing forensic evidence, and the countless inconsistencies the mainstream won't touch. To them, it doesn't look like a shocked spouse reacting to chaos. It looks like someone who already knew the playbook and was ready to run it the second the whistle blew. And that's what's terrifying, because it suggests the people we're told to trust, the ones marketed as fighting for our values, might actually be working hand in hand with the very forces they claim to oppose. Charlie Kirk built his whole brand on being anti-establishment, telling crowds he was on the people's side. But if Dave's right, Charlie didn't just lose his life to random events. He was neutralized by the very establishment he opposed. And his own wife was the perfect tool to make it all look natural. It's the kind of twist that makes you question everything, the headlines, the narratives, even the public faces you thought were on your side. Now the internet is asking the only question that matters. If this could happen to Charlie Kirk, how many other public figures are just one planned exit away from being swapped out for someone already waiting in the wings? This story matters because it shows how deep the corruption really runs. If they can pull off something this elaborate with this many moving parts, imagine what else they're capable of behind closed doors. We're talking layers of strategy, media manipulation, and perfectly timed moves. A blueprint that doesn't come together overnight. And the scariest part? If they pull this off once, you know it's not the first time. Dave Chappelle has already risked his entire career exposing Hollywood's darkest corners, and now he's crossing into politics, calling out names most people wouldn't even whisper. That takes guts, and it also paints a target on his back. Jaguar Wright, meanwhile, has been sounding alarms for years, taking heat, losing opportunities, and paying the price over and over just for speaking out. When people like Dave and Jaguar are willing to put everything on the line to say, this isn't right, the least we can do is listen. Meanwhile, the mainstream media won't even touch this story. It's too explosive, too risky, and threatens the very people they depend on for access and funding. And that silence should tell you everything, because when the loudest platforms are too scared to speak, it's the independent voices that end up carrying the truth forward. And that's exactly why figures like Dave and Jaguar are so crucial right now. They're not just entertainers, they're truth tellers. The ones breaking stories nobody else dares to touch, even when the cost is sky high. They're willing to say what others won't, and now Dave Chappelle and Jaguar Wright have cracked open a can of worms that runs far deeper than anyone imagined. At this point, the question isn't just who pulled the trigger on Charlie Kirk's story. It's whether his own wife knew every move before it even happened. And honestly, after seeing all the so-called coincidences, the timelines, the missing evidence, and Erica's lightning-fast takeover, a lot of people think they already know the answer. But here's the part that should keep you up at night. The real question isn't about Erica alone. The real question is, what are we going to do about it? Because if this is how power really operates, if public figures can be removed, replaced, and rebranded in plain sight while the media stays silent, then what else are we missing? How many other stories have been staged right in front of us without anyone daring to connect the dots? Now it's your turn. Drop a comment below and tell me what you think about Erica Kirk's behavior. Do you believe she's just an innocent widow caught in the storm? Or do you think she knew exactly what was coming? And don't forget, hit subscribe to Dripzine, smash that like button, and share this video to keep this conversation alive. Because the more people see this, the harder it is for the truth to stay buried.